Yo, what's happening, world? B Marsh Boxing. I'm back at it with another boxing video. So I'm covering this fight out of Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. We got the monster Naoya Inoue bringing his undisputed titles at 122-pound super bantamweight versus David Picasso. David Picasso's a Mexican. I believe he's like 32 and 0. Comes into this fight undefeated. He came off a nice little victory. I think it was against Komita. It was definitely against a Japanese fighter. Last fight, I believe, on the Mario Barrios Pacquiao on the card this last summer. So here he is in Riyadh, and he's fighting one of the best pound for pound fighters in the world. Not now, but for like the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. What are we, 2026? Yeah, the monster's been on the scene since about 2016 as far as a pound for pounder status, right? And David Picasso puts up a good effort, gives a good fight. It was a competitive fight, in my opinion. Although I did give the monster winning damn near every round, it was a competitive fight. You know what I mean? The monster, Naoya Inoue, he was getting more hit more than I've in his last two fights, as a matter of fact. I've seen him get hit more in his last two fights than I've probably seen in any fight of his career besides the Nonito Donaire fight, you know what I mean? Um, but David Picasso showed a lot of hunger in there, trading back and forth with the monster. The monster definitely had quicker hand speed. He was letting his hands go, especially in the first half. But that was when it was very competitive. The monster was, I'm not going to say reckless, but he was getting hit. He was getting tagged back by counter punches when the monster would let go like a four-punch combination, you know what I mean? But the monster stuck to the game plan. He kept going to the body, throwing them one-twos, fighting at his range that he prefers, mid-range, not so much up close and personal, phone booth style. He was in the mid-range, you know what I mean, where he could let his hands go and still be able to protect himself, you know what I mean, rather than getting caught with some counter punches. Although that was the best part, in my opinion, of David Picasso's game. Although I didn't give him any rounds, like I said, it was competitive, but he was getting tagged, the monster, more than usual. You know what I mean? I'm not sure what kind of punching power this guy has, David Picasso, but at the end of the day, he was tagging the monster. The monster was eating them joints and just walking through them, and then he was tagging him with the body shots, ripping him to the body. I'm surprised that this fight went the distance, really and truly. Gotta give it up to David Picasso. You're a tough dude. He was getting ripped with liver shots, you know what I mean? Hellacious body shots. But what he tried to do? Tried to counter back the same way. There was a time the monster in the second half of the fight, because that's when he really had control, put his foot to the pedal to the metal, and was now winning widely. You know what I mean? Not that the rounds weren't competitive, but he was ripping him to the body. At the time, he hit him with like 4 to 5 body shots straight. Not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, like bang, just throwing punches. The guy Picasso maybe throws some punches back. Maybe at Naui Monster blocks them, makes him miss, or maybe each one of them, but he rips him up again. Back. Now this guy's on the back foot. He's backing up. The monster just ripped into the body, and he wins clearly on my card, you know what I mean? Unanimous decision. I gave him damn near every round, you know what I mean? This fight wasn't one of them fights you got to score. It was levels to this, you know what I mean? But I am concerned. Naoya Inoue in his last two fights has gone the distance. I thought today would definitely be the fight where he leaves with maybe a TKO or a KO. But Picasso's a tough SOB, just like MJ Mujahideen. The last fight that the monster Naoya was in, and both fights have gone the distance. Now he is 32 years old. He ain't a spring chicken. And if you know, like I know, in these smaller weight classes, these guys they don't age well, like a welterweight or maybe even a heavyweight or Look at guys like Beterbiev, you know what I mean? Still a damn good fighter at over 40 years old at uh at light heavyweight. You don't really find too many good fighters prime for prime in the small weights at the ages of 32 through 35. It's just not something you see, you know what I mean? Greats like Michael Carbajal, they tap out at about 30, 32 years old. Ivan Calderon, you know what I'm saying? It's just not feasible. So, yes, the Monster won. I'm sure he would have liked a KO, but he didn't get a KO. Is there room for concern? Should we be concerned? Is he slipping on his pimping? Time will tell. We shall see. But this guy, David Picasso, wasn't going nowhere. You know what I mean? What up? What up? JoJo Jackson, what the deal, my G? What's up, everybody in the chat? What's popping with y'all, man? Early Sunday or Saturday morning. Anytime the monster fights, I'm on it. But I'm not sure what type of challenges he does have left at 122 pounds. He's been undisputed for a little bit. He does make a record. I think he matches Larry Holmes' record for defending the Ring magazine strap 4 times in one calendar year. Gotta give it up to him. Um, he's very active. He's active even at this advanced age. Advanced age for the little guys. Yeah, I mean the little smaller weights. What's that? Maybe he might go to 126. Might challenge himself at 126. Time will tell. We shall see. I always told y'all, man, I do rate the Monster Inoue. I've been watching this guy since before he even reached double-digit fights, when he was fighting guys like Omar Narvaez. And Omar Narvaez was a damn good fighter, and this guy, the Monster, made quick, easy work out of Omar Narvaez, the Argentine. I think he knocked him out in like 2 rounds. That was when I first had this guy on my radar, started watching him, you know what I mean? And only qualms or problems I had, or any criticism I could throw at the Monster Inoue, was when he was fighting at 115 pounds. Okay, that's a super flyweight. At the time when he was fighting at 115 pounds, the best fighters pound for pound he would have had on his resume, if he fought them today. Here we are in December 2025 going into 2026. If he fought those guys in and around that weight class at 115, those are Hall of Fame caliber fighters. Guys that if he beat them, till today, they would be the best names on his resume. I'm talking about guys like Chocolatito. I'm talking about guys like Juan Francisco Estrada, a.k.a. El Gallo. I'm talking about Rungvisai, Siri Saket out of Thailand. If you know like I know, these guys were major players. I don't know, what was it, 2018, 17, 16, in and around that time, right? And all of these guys were actually, they were being promoted by HBO. HBO was doing a little round robin, Carlos Cuadras, Juan Francisco Estrada, Chocolatito, Rungvisai. They were all fighting each other. The first time this guy, the Monster Naoya Inoue, came to fight in the USA was on an HBO card. Can't remember the fighter he fought. And we're thinking, okay, bet. We as boxing fans, we're thinking, bet. This guy's going to fight these guys, these pound for pound fighters, as El Gallo and Chocolatito and Rungvisai, Carlos Cuadras, etc. He came to America, and I don't think he never came back. If he did, it was much later. But my problem is the criticism. He didn't fight none of those guys. He immediately moved up to 118 pounds. Didn't stay at 115 for long. Grabbed himself a little WBO belt. Then he vacated it, went up to 118, and that's where he was fighting guys like Carlos Payano and what's his name? Nonito Donaire a couple times, you know what I mean? And at that stage, Yeah, the Chocolatito was at one point in time number one pound for pound in the world on the pound for pound list for Ring magazine. And that's my criticism I had for the monster, Naoya Inoue. He didn't fight those guys. He never attempted to fight them. And that had me, questioning like, doesn't this seem suspicious? Does this not seem suspicious? And that's the only criticism I have for him. Besides that, he's a damn good fighter. Uh, Jojo Jackson asked, you think he can get a belt at featherweight? I think so. I mean, he spanked up, what's his name? Cool Boy Steph at 122, and Cool Boy Steph has gone up to 126. He's even fought at one. He looked fat at 135. That's why he got his ass whooped. I'd have to check the landscape for sure. Who's at 126? I believe that there's a Mexican fighter. You know, the guy who beat the Cuban dude who, I'm forgetting that Cuban guy who beat Shakur Stevenson in the Olympics. Two-time gold medalist, but his pro career has been, meh. I know Cool Boy Steph down there. I'd have to really check the landscape for sure, who's at 126. But no killers or no consequences as far that I'm thinking of as of right now that the monster can't handle. But if there's more challenges at 122, for it, I'm not saying he has to move up to 126. This guy's moved up from like 108 pounds. That's where he started, right? As far as winning world titles, 108, 112, 115, 118. I think he's at least a 5 division champion, you know what I mean? So time will tell, we shall see. Joe Jackson says, these guys are getting big for the monster. Who you talking about? Guys at the featherweight? Yeah, like I said, he doesn't have to. You know, in this day and age in boxing right now, there's not a lot of fights being made in guys' proper weight classes. You know what I mean? You got guys like 130 pounder, what's his name? My guy from DC, Lamont Roach from Detroit Park. You know, he's a champion at 130 pounds. With his last two fights, he's been fighting at either his last fight was at 140. Before that, when he fought Tank, was at 135. Look at Shakur Stevenson's going up to 140. Bud Crawford went up 2 weight classes to fight at 168 from 154. So there's a lot of confusion in boxing, guys. I'm not sure why they're not sticking around and fighting in their real divisions. It's okay to challenge yourself. But I don't like when guys have to go up to different weight classes, maybe because guys in their real weight classes are ducking or avoiding them, or these fights are not being made. You know, a guy like Devin Haney, who's now world champion at 147, big ups to him. You know, but it was not too long ago he was undisputed at 135. You know, so I think guys are trying to get themselves world titles in different weight classes so they could say, oh, I'm a 5 different weight class champ. I'm a 4 different weight class champ. And if you know like I know, that don't mean jack shit no more in this boxing game because there's so many belts. We got guys like Leo Santa Cruz, who's a 4 different weight class champion. Would anybody come here and try to tell me Leo Santa Cruz is an all-time great Hall of Fame type of fighter who's achieved stuff like Tommy Hearns or Ray Leonard? Absolutely not. Too many weight classes these days, too many straps. No? So that's why guys are jumping in and around weight classes, trying to get themselves little belts to say, oh, I'm a world champion at this class. Like Tank Davis, how you know, the fanboys of Tank Davis like to say he's a 140-pound champion too. Get the F up out of here, boy. When he fought Mario Barrios, that was for a regular belt. Where I'm from, we don't count them shits. That's what we don't do. We don't count no WBA regular belt as a world title. You know what I'm saying? Because at the time, Josh Taylor was undisputed at 140 pounds with all the straps, including the Lineal and Ring magazine, right? The one that Teofimo Lopez has, because he took it up off of Josh Taylor. Now, Why Tank Davis ain't going to fight the man Josh Taylor for the real WBA 140-pound strap, and at the same time, he would have fought for all the undisputed straps. Now, if he did that and goes to beat Josh Taylor at 140, takes up all them straps up off of him, same way Bud Crawford did to Cannoli, going up to 168, taking up all them straps up off of him, then I'd give the guy all the credit due. But you don't get no props from me for beating Mario Barrios. Boy, you crazy. You got your rabbit-ass mind. But yeah, man, B-March Boxing, big ups to everybody in the chat. The Monster Inoue gets it done. I'm told you I'm concerned. That's two back-to-back fights where he's gone the distance with these fighters. Where's the knockout power? Why he ain't slumping or laying fellas down like he used to? Even with all them body shots, I could have sworn this guy Picasso would have taken a knee, but he ate them joints. And he survived on his feet. B-March Boxing, leave your thoughts and comments. And if you're new to the channel, please share, subscribe. If you like the content, hit the thumbs up. And please leave a comment in the comment section. And let me know who you guys would like to see Naoya, the Monster Inoue, fight next. I do believe he's at least number 1 or number 2 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. And that's because Bud Crawford is officially retired. So time will tell, we shall see. Little guys don't last that long in their 30s in these weight classes. Maybe that's why the Monster hasn't got knockouts back to back, but we shall see. I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm gone. Peace.